Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are destined to slowly recede from top billing on the news agenda, much like two of the Duke of Sussex's distant royal relatives, according to a royal author. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's brand depends on their royal connections, commentator and author Robert Hardman has claimed. And, as the time goes by following their split from the firm, they are destined to no longer be at the forefront of the news agenda, the royal expert added. In an interview with website Right Royalty, Mr. Hardman said, "I think their brand depends entirely on their royal status and their royal connections, and therefore that's what they are going to have to trade on, however much they say otherwise. It will be the royal stuff in Harry's book, when it comes out, that people want to know about, not the worthy charitable activity. And I think as time goes on, like the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, they will inevitably slowly recede from top billing on the news agenda. But I think it will be a slow process." The Duke of Windsor, former King Edward VIII, was the Queen's uncle who abdicated in 1936 to marry the woman he loved, American socialite Wallis Simpson. After he abruptly positioned then Princess Elizabeth in the direct line of succession to the throne, he moved to France where he married Mrs. Simpson and only returned a handful of times to Britain during his lifetime. Mr. Hardman added the Duke of Sussex was incredibly popular among Britons before stepping down as a senior member of the firm, also due to the great work he was doing with veterans, the Invictus Games and with the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. Prince Harry and Meghan officially bowed out of the firm as its senior members at the end of March 2020. The Duke and Duchess have since relocated to California with their son Archie Harrison and, in their new mansion located in the star-studded Santa Barbara neighborhood of Montecito, they welcomed their daughter Lilibet Lily Diana last June. As they relinquished their senior roles in the firm, they had to return to the Queen their royal and military patronages and can no longer undertake royal duties. On the other hand, they can now strike profitable financial deals, as they have done with streaming giants Netflix and Spotify. Prince Harry is currently working as executive producer of Heart of Invictus, a docuseries focused on a group of Invictus Games contestants and on the healing power of sport. The Duchess was also working as one of the executive producers of an animated series, Pearl, but the show was axed by Netflix as part of a wider cost-cutting move. Nevertheless, Meghan has her hands full as she is preparing to launch her first podcast for Spotify, Archetypes. The Duke is also continuing the work on mental health and well-being he started as a working royal, albeit as Chief Impact Officer of coaching and mental health firm BetterUp. Meghan and Harry are also carrying on with their non-profit work through the Archie Foundation, which they founded in late 2020. According to one report, the Queen plans to personally offer an olive branch to the couple. She said in a statement this week that the extraordinarily damaging allegations from the Sussexes, of racism and of emotional neglect that Meghan said had left her feeling suicidal, would be dealt with privately. "That should be a holding statement," said the royal historian and author Robert Lacey. "The next step is to say, yes, with regard to the personal family issues, we are working on that in private. But, we acknowledge there are issues of public accountability here. It's not just the aftermath of the Oprah Winfrey interview," Lacey said. Allegations that Meghan bullied staff are also in play. "This is about how this major institution of state, funded by the taxpayer, is actually organized. They should acknowledge, we have questions about HR policy. We have questions about our diversity. And we are going to handle those now, openly, in the way that any government department would. This is an agency of the British government. It's more than people or a family. It's about an institution." If you look at Buckingham Palace's website, at its HR pages, they go into ecstasy about their wonderful human resources policy, and what you can expect if you join, and how much they care for their staff. It sounds like any modern American corporation on paper. But in practice it's just run in the old-fashioned way. The phrase the firm has come to apply to the royal family and the institution around it, the men in grey suits, as Diana, Princess of Wales coined it. The power behind the royals includes Sir Edward Young, the Queen's private secretary, and Clive Alderton, a former diplomat and Prince Charles's private secretary at Clarence House.